Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our December 17th Mornings with Mayesh show. Thank you for joining us and happy holidays. I cannot believe we're in mid to end December and Christmas is a week away, right? I'm not ready. Are you guys ready? I'm going to give everyone a few minutes to come on in. In case you don't know me, my name is Yvonne Ashton. I'm the marketing director at Mayesh Wholesale Florist. I'm here today with Bron Hansborough of the Flower Guy Bron to answer your flower questions today. It's going to be a super fun show as usual. Say hello in the comments. Keep on saying hello. Let us know where you're from. Put in your questions for Bron. We're going to answer as many as we can in this hour show. Also, I wanted to let you know that if you miss the live show or if you have to leave early, that is okay. Of course, I would love to have you on, but I know life goes on and things have to happen. So there will be a video replay that will be available on Facebook immediately. I also put the video replay up on our blog, in addition to the podcast replay and our show notes from today. Cool beans. So you can go and visit mayesh.com and then click on blog or /blog and you will see all of that loveliness in about 1 to 2 days. You guys got to give me a little bit of time to get that all processed and up and running. Also, I wanted to let you know that, there's always really fun and exciting things going on here at Mayesh. We just launched our website recently. So make sure if you haven't checked that out, go ahead and check it out. We have a really great Mayesh Direct Box Lot program. We have our new flower library that has lots of sorting and quoting and fun functionality added into it. We also have this really cool product planner. Also, we have our 2020 Mayesh International Experience happening in April with Sue and Hanukkah. So I'm going to post that. Let me see. Because remember, you guys, this is all new. Hold on. I have like a new screen. There we go. There, I see you now. All right. I'm having technical difficulties. All right. Here we go. I'm typing in the URL. So yeah, check that out when you get a chance. And then we also have a lot of people asking about our US workshops. And yes, we are having 2 workshops this in 2020 with Sue McCleary. Super, super excited. We're going to be hitting up San Francisco and Raleigh. We are putting on the finishing touches on that, and we're going to be launching it very, very soon. We have, of course, a really fun way of launching it. Might be giving away a couple of tickets, and so definitely stay tuned for that. Let me go and see who's all here. Let's see. Hi, hello, Jennifer. You are not late, Jennifer. We are starting a little bit of late. If you might be wondering about this lovely Christmas sweater I got on, and my little one had her kindergarten holiday party, so I wanted to do that, and so we had to move it. And also, I've been wanting to know, and maybe you guys can give me a little bit of feedback, but if it is like a half hour or an hour later than our normal time, would that be better? So I just want to kind of maybe experiment with the times a little bit. Before I used to have to do it at 10, but I don't have to do that time anymore. So I've been thinking about kind of rearranging things and just testing it out. So let me know. Let me know what you guys think. I see Nancy is here. Good morning, Nancy. Marie. I have Jennifer Bleakley. Huntress Florals, Peg, Tracy, good morning. Tracy's from Omaha. Awesome. Penny, she says, Merry, happy, abundant holidays to you all. Same to you, Penny. Peonies and Petals, Courtney. Keep it coming, guys. I love it. I love it. And Ben, I see Ben, and he says my Christmas sweater is on point. Thanks, Ben. I got it for an ugly sweater party. It's not really my thing, but it's all good. It'll work for now. Also, I wanted to make sure that if you guys want to be in the know and you're new to this show, let's say you joined us because I shared it to one of these amazing Facebook florist groups and you don't even know about us and you don't get our emails, I put a link in so that way you can subscribe to us and get our emails, know what's going on, and just stay abreast of everything. That's fun and exciting. I also wanted to say that I have a little giveaway that I'm going to do at the end. So if you stay on to the end, that's why you need to stay, right? Okay. So let me bring on Bron. Hi, Bron. How are you? Oh, hold on. Let me start over one more time because I muted you. There we go. There we
Take
go.
me out of jail. Take me out of jail. I'm
I
here.
know. Hi, Bron. How are you? Welcome to Mornings with Mayesh.
Oh, good morning. I'm so excited to be here, and thank you so much for having me today.
Yes, of course. So, Bron here is a designer based out of Richmond, Virginia. I met Bron at Flourish by Curate conference about a month ago. We connected actually a bit before we met face to face about getting together and do this show. So, I'm just so excited to have you here.
Well, I'm excited to be here.
Awesome. So, let's get started and let's just start with you telling us a little bit about yourself and your flower story.
All right. Well, the flower story, I don't even know if there's enough time in an hour to tell the whole flower story. However, I do have a background in education. And as I travel and speak, I realize that there's so many of us in the design world who have backgrounds in education. And so my specialty was always in dealing and helping and assisting kids with autism. So I had classroom experience for several years and then became an administrator at the public school central office level. And then it got to a point where I was no longer finding the fulfillment in the way that I needed to for that career to be sustainable. And so I had to choose self-preservation over salary and clout. And I think a lot of us have been at that crossroads of having to decide, is what I'm doing professionally going to really be able to carry me forever? And I decided that it wasn't. And luckily, I had already started the Flower Guy Bron. I was working both my full-time job and balancing the demands of my business. And I quit my job. I literally quit in the middle of the school year, which is so faux pas for an educator. But for me, it was a matter of choosing life or death. And I chose life. And I'm so excited to be here to share that story with you all. So I did realize instantly that I made the right decision because my business began to grow by leaps and bounds. The clients that I was able to now have the time to tend to, and I was able to develop not only my luxury brand, but also develop some subsidiary brands to complement my philosophy of being able to serve just about anybody. So that's a little bit of my floral journey. But, the biggest takeaway for me is that I have decided that all people deserve to have a quality wedding, and I want to be the person to be able to provide that experience for them. And as a designer, I've also learned that whatever I do is perfect because it comes out of my hands, and what comes from my hands is inspired from somewhere else. And we have a really, really distinct gift in being creative, and not everybody has that. And once I accepted the fact that the gift was good and that what I created was good, I was able to step back and look at my career and my designs with a whole different lens, a lens of appreciation and just feeling fulfilled and whole as a designer. And so as I go around the country, that's the inspiration that I want to leave with my peers, is that you're good, you're great, you're perfect, and what you do is needed. So that's my flower story, and I love sharing it with everyone. And I'm getting excited because I'm seeing some of my friends pop on. Hey, everybody.
I
Hey.
love it, right? Isn't that fun? And I love your story. And you kind of alluded to it a little bit because I was going through your website and I was watching your lovely brand video, which I wish everyone would have a brand video talking about yourself and the company. I think it was amazing. And it's short, it's not super long. But you do talk about how you are a people's florist and you want to be accessible to all people. But when you look at your Instagram page, it looks like you're kind of the Flower Guy Bron is targeting more of like the high end wedding budgets. But I do know that you found a way to offer a floral design to those that might have a more conservative budget. So can you tell us a little bit about that? Because I loved that part of your story too that I learned at
This
Flourish.
is probably something that I love to talk about more than just about anything, because all of us, when we start our businesses, or at least most, and I try not to speak in general terms. However, I know for me, starting my business, I looked at, the trajectory of growth and the direction that I wanted to take my business. And we all start our businesses thinking, I want to be at the top. And, in our industry, we all know that luxury, quote unquote, is what we consider to be at the top level of performance. And as my marketing and the opportunities that I was given or earned, rather, as those opportunities grew, I started to realize that, okay, Bron, you're getting closer and closer to that target, to that peak of luxury. But what about the clients who were not in a luxury price point, who had the modest, conservative $2,500, $3,000, whatever website says the average price point for flowers is in your area? What about
Right.
those folks, those lovely couples who invested their hard-earned money into my services in the very beginning? How on earth could I now be at a place where I had nothing to offer those people who created the magic that is now the Flower Guy Bron? So I had to do some soul searching and realize that there was a way that I could serve not only my growing luxury side of my business, which is the Flower Guy Bron, but also be able to offer something that does not, require such a time requirement for me, and that does not require the client to make such a large investment. So I went out on a limb. I did some market analysis and realized that there was a really big hole in the area of what I would consider really, I mean, for lack of better terms, a budget service. How can I maintain my luxury brand, but also still provide services that were universally accessible? And so Pastel Posies by the Flower Guy Bron was that solution. And I'm very proud to say that I market Pastel Posies by the Flower Guy Bron and the Flower Guy Bron separately. Therefore, I'm not losing any momentum on the Flower Guy Bron side, which is definitely a higher price point, but I'm also able to provide that more attainable thing, service and product. And what's interesting here, and what I want everyone to recognize, is that when I'm marketing the Flower Guy Bron and those luxury services, it's important that what I'm pouring into that operation in terms of my time and my overall investment is at a high level. Now, you can easily be inclined, when you have a client who comes that has a much more modest price point, to invest that same amount of time and energy into that client. But I have to tell you, that model is not sustainable. So you have to figure out a way to reduce your investment, not the quality per se, but I cannot dedicate the same amount of time and energy to a $20,000 flower client that I do to a $3,000 or below floral client. So you have to figure out what works for you. And for me, it was streamlining the process. It was a matter of me coming up with set recipes that we do not deviate. And I have to remind clients when they opt for the pastel posy route, the reason why this collection is in your budget is because it is streamlined and made and designed to fit. Once we start making alterations, it becomes a custom design, and that, what we know, is where you don't want to be. So you have to figure out what works for you. I don't even touch pastel posies. I have my designers, my assistants that can put them together very easily. The client oftentimes opts to come pick up so that they can avoid the delivery and setup charges. And so we just kind of make it work for us. And that way, I'm not providing luxury looks and luxury services and price points that have not earned that level of service. And keeping that mindset then allows my market not to be saturated with looks that look like me and looks that look luxury when the client did not make that type of investment. And there has to be a dividing line. We
Right.
cannot have $10,000 looks or $15,000 looks sold at $5,000 and $7,000. Now, granted, that's a significant investment, but is it the investment that makes your business special when you provide the luxury service that that client purchased? I could go on and on and on, but
I
I
know,
think
but I love it.
their horse enough because it's something I'm passionate about, and we have to be mindful in our markets. Hey, we can't oversaturate. We have to make sure that the products we're offering are in the right quadrant and priced accordingly.
Yeah. No, I love that. And so guys, when you're watching, check out the comments because I put in the link for pastel posies so that we can see what Bron is offering. And I think it's amazing and it's a great part of your story, Bron. So I'm glad that you're able to share that.
And
I'm
anyone
gonna
that wants any more info, please
Yeah,
feel free to reach out to me separately. I'll take any questions or comments and we can chat about it.
I love it. Thank you. So I'm going to skip a little bit down to some questions that were sent in because Penny, one of our viewers that watches almost every time, thank you, Penny, I love you. She sent in some good ones. So she wanted to know what inspired you to be the flower guy. How did that happen?
Okay, so if we're talking in terms of the name itself,
Yeah.
I literally used to watch this show. It was a wedding related show, of course. And there was a baker. I think the baker's based in New York somewhere. And his name was the Cake Man Raven. And he specialized only in red velvet cakes at all different crazy levels, like huge, 10-foot soaring cakes and to cupcakes. And so I would
Wow.
watch the show and I just became enamored by, his product and that he had one thing that he did and that he knew he did very, very well. And so I was tossing names around, names that sounded, because a lot of times they say don't incorporate your own name into your business. And, there's all these different things and catchwords that you're trying to create or feelings that you're trying to evoke from your name. And I was just like, I don't know that many people named Brian. As a matter of fact, I don't know any.
Right.
And I think that there's a catch there. And I think that when I thought about what I'm selling, I realized I was selling a relationship with me more so than flowers. But I thought that flowers needed to be incorporated. So I became the Flower Guy Bron.
Lovely. Lovely. And so she's also asking, what did you do to boost yourself to get out there in the world when you first started?
Well, let me tell you something. In a world of Instagram, Facebook, and so many different social media avenues, it is so easy for us to, want to be in a certain place because we feel like we should be, or we
Hmm.
know that we're working hard and we haven't quite achieved, the notoriety or, the presence in the industry that we feel like we deserve. And what I will tell you is networking, being visible, going to conferences, and making organic connections. You can buy followers. You can do a whole lot of things to make your presence look a lot larger. But I will have to tell you that I put my feet on the ground. I attended national conferences, local conferences, regional conferences, any place that I could go to network and surround myself with like-minded and positive event professionals. And it just snowballs from there. Then you maybe, try to, propose being a guest on a podcast. And
Right.
then, the things kind of just snowball from there. And once you've made a few good relationships, the rest is really history. So I would say make sure that your social media is active and that you are the face of it. I think that a lot of people feel like, it's all about the work, it's all about the work. But what we're finding from social media is that people want to see you and people want to know what's going on in the background just a little bit. So give people an opportunity to not only connect with your work, but also, and most importantly, connect with you because you are what you're selling.
Yeah, yeah, and I totally agree, and I love that. And you talking about just getting out there and going to the events is kind of a perfect segue for my next question because I do notice that you speak at a lot of events
Yeah.
throughout the year, and you had purposely pursued that avenue. So, can you
Yeah.
talk a little bit about how you made that decision to go down the path of being an educational speaker?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I think this is the kind of the perfect bridge to my former career as an educator. And I got to a point where I realized as much as I love flowers, I don't know if it was possible for me to only work with flowers forever. And forever is relative. Like I told you when we were in the green room, I look
Right.
forward to retiring to Florida, and hopefully
Yeah.
sooner or later. So we're building this thing so that it is to be sold at some point, right? So
Right.
forever is relative, but I knew that I would not be able to only manipulate flowers forever. So I said,
Mhm.
what can you do that's a natural transition, something that you're already an expert in, and you built your business, you have some tools in your toolbox. Let's now share them to event professionals and florists who could use, the opportunity to learn from someone who's already tripped in the mud hole. So I decided that it would be, the perfect segue to start, speaking and educating on floral and event related topics. So it does definitely spear from me being an educator, being in front of people, and also, conducting professional developments for teachers, and just kind of knowing what I didn't like when I had to sit in the classroom and trying to
Mhm.
be exactly the opposite when I'm on stage and trying to make sure that we're engaging in a very meaningful way. People go to
Yeah.
conferences all the time and they leave with 10,000 actionable takeaways. And I mean, they beat us over the head as speakers about making sure everything is actionable, actionable, actionable. And don't get me wrong, I know people are paying to leave with things that they can apply to their businesses immediately, but I also always make sure that I'm leaving them with an element of inspiration. You cannot just send people home with a notebook full of notes. You have to give them some fuel to be able to tackle those notes and actually work on their businesses. So that's my passion. My passion is to provide a platform for people to be able to be inspired and know that they're good.
Oh, I have chills right now. I love that.
Woo!
Woo!
And it's
So
80 degrees in Florida. Get out of
I
here.
know, and I have a sweater on. um, so you are a really amazing speaker. I'm jealous, quite frankly.
Oh, please. I
Eh,
heard you in St. Louis. Girl, please.
I've gotten better. I've gotten better. But I know you were a teacher, but were you always good at public speaking, or did you do things for yourself to get better at it since you knew that
So,
was a path that you wanted to go down?
yeah, so I was an only child of two parents who were older. So my parents, the world that I existed in, the opportunities that I was fortunate enough to receive were always opportunities that put me on a stage in some case, whether it was at church in the choir, whether
Right.
it was, in a boys choir. I sang in the Richmond Boys Choir here in town as a child and, having solos and then going to school and singing in that choir. So I do have a background also in performance, vocal performance. So I think that definitely helped me be comfortable on the stage. Now, what I will say is the key to public speaking is just being comfortable. Once you're comfortable, it's much easier to focus on the content and not the hundreds of people that are standing there gawking at you, or thousands of people in some cases listening to you. So the key, and I would tell anyone, if you're interested in public speaking or educating, I would say first, develop topics that you are an expert on. You cannot talk about anybody else's topic. Trust me, it will
Right.
be a train wreck immediately because you can't be passionate about it. So
Hmm.
talk about things that you know. Talk about you. Talk about your experiences, and get a little bit of maybe a little bit of experience on Instagram and Facebook Live, talking to your communities, because your communities will support you in a way that foreign communities won't necessarily. So keep that in mind. If you're interested, try it on Facebook and Instagram and talk about things that you know.
Love it. Love it. Real quick, I got Sean Strong here watching.
Hey,
Hey,
Sean.
Sean. We love Sean. 2019 Mayesh Design Star.
Design star, right.
Yeah. And just reiterating, you are a brand. Good words, Bron. Love
That is
it.
very kind of you, Sean. I was trying not to get like zoned out onto the comment bar, but I definitely caught that. Thank you so much. And hey, Andre.
Yeah. Yes. Hey, hey. Okay. So moving on. Where do you look for your creative inspiration?
We are inundated with inspiration
Mhm.
everywhere.
Yes.
And I have to tell you a little bit about my design mind, and then I'll tell you about where I seek inspiration. So, personally, for me, I love florals that are soft and romantic. So, whatever I see, I always want to interpret it in my design language soft and romantically. For example, I may look at inspiration from, a style design that is totally not, what my general look would be. But I noticed today a florist posted something that had a lot of hardscape and branches and air plants. But then, I was looking at it and I was like, that is so perfect. And I would have never been able to design that. Like, that was just not where my mind would have gone with that selection of product. But what I would have done is this, and I would have softened it up with Phalaenopsis orchid. So that's how my mind works. But when I'm looking for inspiration, I look at places like architecture. So, for example, I get Architectural Digest all the time to my home monthly. So that subscription has really helped me look at spaces and try to interpret how florals can soften hardscapes. I also look at fashion and colors. I can't say that I predicted the Pantone color of the year, but I definitely had incorporated it quite a bit last season. And it's also my favorite color. So
Nice.
I look at, Pantone and fashion. And then I also look at nature. As I've developed as a designer, I will tell you that I get inspiration from driving down the street. Maybe there's a row of houses that's tree lined, and one of the houses has beautiful wisteria cascading over the door, or a vine trellising up the front of the building. Things like that have helped me interpret and develop my design voice and how I incorporate greenery and movement into my design. So I'm looking all over the place all of the time: magazines, architecture, fashion, and just everyday life experiences all shape how I interpret design.
Love it. Love it. I'm going to move on to some more viewer questions. Uh,
Yeah.
Carice says, I'm excited about Mornings with Mayesh. Lately, I've been trying to figure out the best flower food to use. I'm a wedding florist and a bit overwhelmed by all the options. Do you have any advice for her?
Yeah, I use Floral Life. I usually get it by the drum, essentially. Like, I mean, the drum is probably half as tall as me. For me, I've noticed that my flowers hold up quite a bit longer with it. I
Yeah.
soak my foam in it. I soak, my flowers in it once they've been processed, so that they always go from, one saturated food source to the next. So that's my go-to. But I think what might benefit you is to get a couple of packets from your wholesaler of different brands and do a tester. Put clip a rose or hydrangea and soak it in it and see which one lasts the longest. But for me, it's been Floral Life.
Love it. Great. Thank you.
Yeah.
Tina says, as a florist, when you book weddings, do you charge a deposit or do they pay in full? What is the
Ooh.
recommendation on that
This
or
is a good
opinion?
question. So I would say, in the beginning, before I was familiar with contract language, I required a 50% deposit up front. Now, deposit is very different than retainer. And so what I want to differentiate, the legal difference is that a retainer is not refundable and a deposit is. And in our world, a lot of times we're making investments. The second my client pays me a deposit, or pays a retainer rather, I instantly start procuring their hard goods. So those things I can't give you any money back. I'm sorry. You
Right.
committed and you have paid, and I have already spent that money. So I would say that I would require a portion of whatever makes you feel comfortable. For me to work at the high budgets that we do have an opportunity to work at, my retainer isn't necessarily as high as some might think it is. For example, if it's a $20,000 investment, and some of my peers might shoot me, but I might require 2,500, 3,000 down as opposed to 5 or 10, only because I don't want to ever make money a tense part of the conversation. And even though clients might have the money to spend, when they're committing at $10,000, that is a jar. I don't care who you are, and it is impacted on their credit card statement. So I try to make the deposit. I'm sorry, let me correct myself. Not deposit. I try to make the retainers as attainable as possible, and it is on a scale based on the price point of the investment. So I would recommend whatever you're comfortable with, whether it's it's a quarter of the overall due at contract signing, whether it's 50%, whatever works for you. But I would definitely recommend a retainer over a deposit.
Great, great. And RSVP Floral Design says, yes, always retainer, not a deposit.
Yeah, we
Good
agree.
advice. Good advice. All right. So now we have Irma up. She says, I have a small flower shop. We currently work on everyday occasions and do an occasional small wedding for personal flowers and bridal bouquets only. Unfortunately, it is not bringing in enough profit. My question is, what steps should we take in order to slowly start doing more weddings and less every day? Should advertising be a first step?
All right. So that is a good question. We're going to have to unpack it piece by piece.
Right.
There's a few things that I don't want to forget. So I'm going to put the cart before the horse and tell you that weddings and corporate events are definitely going to be more lucrative and be a little bit more sustainable than just the occasional bouquets and the everyday flowers. So we know that. Once you get into the wedding market, then we're going to talk about some steps to do it. But once you get into the wedding market, I will tell you that your overage can then now fund your retail because you're always going to have a percentage overage. So keep that in mind. So any flowers that we're not able to sell or use, or if there's any overage, we don't have that much. But if we have multiple weddings on a weekend, maybe we have a Friday, Saturday, or maybe a couple on Saturday. On Sunday, I am looking at several buckets of flowers that are left over that we didn't need or couldn't incorporate. And then I can now fund my retail operation, which is out of a grocery store, a locally owned grocery store. So I had to say that so I don't forget. So I would tell you that my first step for you would be to look at your market, develop a look. If you don't already have a look, try to find and identify a look that can be your signature. I would probably team up with vendor partners in your area and produce a style shoot, because you're not going to be able to sell wedding content or wedding looks if you don't have the content on your social media and on your website. So develop the content and then start the marketing. So style shoot first, and then start pitching those style shoot images out on social media. Redevelop your website, because also if you're doing FTD, Teleflora, all great avenues for retail florists. However, a person that's booking a wedding is not going to want to see Teleflora or those type of images. They're going to want to see wedding inspiration. So and I would even recommend maybe even developing a new website that focuses on floral, so that when people click a link or people click an icon and they're directed to your page, they're directed instantly to wedding content. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense.
Good.
Makes perfect sense. Thank you. All right. Our next question is from Lynn. She says, do you ever have a client who asks for something that doesn't seem to fit with the venue and overall theme of the wedding? And if so, do you honor it or suggest something else?
That is a great question.
Yeah.
So we are in the business of navigating our clients through a creative process. We are the captains of that ship. So what that means is we are hired to give them our good, honest, true feedback. All the time, I'm on venue walkthroughs with clients and they have ideas. Some of the ideas are excellent. Some of them are overthinking. And then some of them are just plain bad. Right. And it is my job as the captain of their creative ship to let them know the idea is bad. And it's also always given with technical feedback. So, for example, my team and I are very conscious of scale. So if we're walking into a ballroom and we have 30-foot ceilings and 15-foot chandeliers, we have to make sure that we adequately design the space. So you have a client that says, oh, we really like, trailings of greens on the table. And I'm like, okay, babe, I get it. That's a good look. And it works in most places. However, you pick the grandest of ballrooms on the grandest avenue in the grandest city in the country. There's no way on earth that's going to be an appropriate design as a standalone. So I always try to navigate them back to what works the best from a design perspective. And that is the perspective that I tell them the role that I'm going to play. And every opportunity is not a personal choice. This is not, I don't like it. From a design perspective, my recommendation would be. And I keep it clean. When they ask me, it's always my design recommendation. And at the investments that clients are making with me, they trust my design recommendations. And there is the occasional that might not bring the concern to me and go out, go rogue and do what they do. And on day of, I might have to make some concessions and tweak some things to make it work. But that's my job. We're only as good as how great we're able to kind of fix some stuff. When things go right, it's easy, but when things go wrong, that's when we're really the professional, and we have to make it work. So I would say, be mindful of your wording, be sensitive that this is their most important day, even though it's just one day in our lives, but it's their most important day, and they're putting a lot of thought and energy into it. So be careful with your words, but always stand true to the fact that you are the professional, and they, whether they know it or not, need to hear your professional opinion.
I love it. Love it. And everyone's loving captain of this creative ship. Like that's going to be a thing now.
Hey, use it. You don't have to tag me. It's free. You can have it.
I love it. Love it. So kind of on the same path, same what we're just talking about. RSVP Floral Design says, when you consult with new clients, do you always walk the space and venue together?
Heck no. I cannot dedicate that type of time until we have a working relationship. And that working relationship is a signed retainer and a paid invoice. So, no, the only time I even consider walking a space with a client prior to the development of a relationship is if it's a planner that I work with on a regular basis, and I know that the client is most likely going to usually choose the recommendations of the planner, then I will go out on a limb and invest that type of time. But I only recommend spending energy and time on clients that have paid you. You will burn out doing multiple revisions and investing the time and letting them know that you're worth you're worth the price. No, you were worth the price when you met with them initially, and you were also worth them signing a retainer with you. So please be mindful of your time and energy prior to visiting and phoning and all of that, because your time is so super valuable, people.
Yeah, that's a really great words to remember and to work by. All right. If you could design a wedding or event any way you desired, what colors, flowers, other elements would you incorporate? If you could
I
just
have
design
struggled with this
anything.
question. I have totally struggled with it. Okay, so back to the whole romance piece. I am a classic man. There are a lot of designs out here that are avant-garde and totally, architectural. And I think that is gorgeous. I look at it, I like it, I gawk at it. I try to figure out how in the heck these folk can come up with these concepts.
Right.
But I will tell you the looks that work for me, the looks if I were planning my dream wedding again, my look would always be soft. Even though I'm a guy and a big guy at that, I love any shade of white ivory, blushes, corals, anything that blends well with pink. And that is so, I even have on a pink tone shirt. It's just my thing. I feel like I'll always look back at it and will always appreciate it. It will be big, big, big floral centerpieces. There will definitely be large installations, maybe even a floral tunnel. I'm obsessed with Karen Train and Jeff Leatham and all of those big, big guys and ladies who do those awesome tunnels to create the experience leading up to the ceremony or reception or wherever guests are going. So mine would be big, soft, shades of blush, and installations galore.
Love it. Love it. All right. We've got a whole lot of questions, I think, in here. So let me see if we can hit up a few before we do our rapid fire section. All right. So Penny says, how do you get a client's vision and have them let you have design freedom in their genre?
So this is the thing, Penny. The client came to you. So that says a lot. It says a lot that they have brought their vision to you, which means they really know that you're capable of doing exactly what it is that they're expecting. So I don't actually think it's a problem to remind them, hey guys, listen, what connected you to me was the imagery that you saw on social media or the imagery that you saw on my website, and that is exactly what I have in store for you. I'm going to be able to take your vision, your mood board, and create something custom for you that aligns not only with my genre but also your expectations as my client. That's what you say, and I guarantee you they will walk away feeling a sigh of relief, and trusting is about trust, and trusting that you will be able to merge their vision with your design style.
Very good. Very good. I have another question
Yeah.
from Leniel. Do you always offer an in-person consultation prior to the retainer, or is email back and forth the preferred way to close the sale?
So my first point of contact is email, of course. They reach out via email or voicemail, and we respond very, very quickly to the inquiry. We then get them scheduled with a phone consultation initially. And I'm the only person who takes those consultations. I walk them through their wedding, their entire event, and then descriptions, and ultimately price point. And then from there, I automatically offer them a retainer at that point. Proposal, you're walking them up into the moment, and then you blow their.
Oh, I lost him, guys. All right. Well, that's part of the live experience. Let me bring Braun back on. Hold on. Let's see. Internet
Am I
sometimes
back
go
on the
down.
ship?
You're back on the
Am I
ship.
back on the
You're back on
ship?
this creative ship.
It's all good. So I was saying, you want to create that build. So once you get to the numbers, they're already still enamored in the design. And so that's the perfect opportunity to offer them their retainer. And 9 times out of 10, I'm able to get the retainer signed and some money in my pocket. And that money is to cover the
Very good. I feel like you're breaking up a little bit again.
that they just benefited from. So that's the.
There. Thanks, Braun. Let's see. I feel like I'm losing you still. Can you hear
I don't know.
me?
I hear you just fine. I hear
Okay.
you.
All right. I see
Yeah,
you
I hear
now.
you.
You keep on blinking in and out with me, but that's okay. We're gonna keep on motoring on.
Sorry, y'all.
Um,
Technical difficulties. We're gonna work through them.
we're gonna work through them. That's the part of this fun live part of it. Okay, so Peonies and Petals Design says when you do big scale weddings and smaller scales, is your she says rotor percentage still the same? I'm not sure what rotor is, but maybe you do.
So maybe I think she's probably talking about my conversion rate.
Maybe
Um, hmm.
maybe markup,
Let's see. Where's the.
like the margin percentage. I wonder, like if you have like the same markup. I'm not sure.
Hmm.
Peonies and Petals, if you're listening, let us know. Let
Yeah,
me
let's get a
see.
little clarification. That sounds like an interesting question that I'd like to give some feedback on.
Yeah, yeah. Let me see. Okay, so Penny had a couple more questions. We'll do this one. She wants to know, what are your favorite flowers and greens to work with? I know you talked about like you love like the soft colors and things like that, but do you have some
Yeah.
favorite
Well,
flowers?
I'm going to start off talking about my favorite greens.
Okay.
So I haven't always been the biggest fan of greens. I started off like I don't want to use any greens that takes away from the flowers, and I, I would say my favorite greens are smilax. Can y'all hear me? Because I feel like I might be freezing.
You
Is it
froze up
me?
and we lost you for a second there. Yeah, I
That's
know.
strange. I don't know. So again, Smilax, Duck, and Eleagnus are my favorite greens. And my favorite flower of all times, I have two O'Hara garden roses because they're full petal count and their fragrance, and Phalaenopsis orchids.
Lovely, lovely. Okay, and so Peonies and Petals Design was wondering about your profit percentage if you
Yeah.
change those.
So yes, so my profit percentage changes. It can even change per item. So depending on the budget of the client, it might not be practical for me to do my full markup on a wedding that's full of garden roses and orchids, just because it might blow me out price point wise. So I'll figure out different areas, like where my orchid centerpieces, I might not make quite as much money on those, but on other centerpieces, I can compensate with my markup. So it definitely slides depending on the event, depending on the price point. But generally, I'm always looking to try to profit around 33%. And that can be high, but it is possible when you really look at your analytics and figure out cost of goods sold, and all of those different uh, they say talk about things that you know, and accounting is not my thing. But I know when I talk to my accountant, that's what they say, and that's what I'm doing. So we're gonna leave
Good.
it at that.
Awesome. That's perfect. That's perfect. All right, we're getting towards the end, and I want to go through our rapid questions. We don't have to be super fast about it either. So I know some of them are easy, some of them not so easy. We talked about favorite flower, right?
Mhm.
Favorite color. I know you talked a little bit about that, but favorite color.
Yeah, my favorite color is blue. My favorite
Food?
flower color is blush.
Okay. I thank you for the clarity. Are you a coffee or tea drinker?
I'm a black coffee drinker.
Very good. And who do you admire the most?
I admire my husband the most, Lloyd Ely. He's fabulous. He's actually building the country's largest wind farm off of the coast of Virginia Beach. And he manages that and then still has time to come and support my business. So,
Love it. Love it. I lost you again. Can you hear me? Let's give it a second, guys. I'm sorry for the disruption. I'm wondering if there's like some sort of internet connection or maybe Facebook is having an issue. Who knows? Bron, are you still with me? I cannot hear him. Let's see. Can't hear. I love this answer. Black coffee. Yeah, I'm a tea drinker, guys. I like chai tea with some pumpkin spice creamer and almond milk with 3 dashes of cinnamon. Very specific. Bron, if you can hear me, because I can't hear or see you, you're frozen for us. Maybe try refreshing, like a Control F5 if you have a PC, like a hard refresh, if you know what that means. Let's see. We'll give them a minute, guys. Uh, while we're here, and to keep you guys on, I was looking for feedback. I know some of you guys joined us a little bit late, and so if you missed the very beginning, I wanted to know you guys' feedback on the time for the show. So it's been 10 a.m. Eastern time because I had to have it that way. But my schedule's a little bit different now, so I can do it 10 a.m., 10:30, 11. Kind of want to still keep it in the morning time. So for all of you West Coasters, would 11 be better for you? I'm just curious to see what you all guys what you all think. So let me know. And also while we're here, Aaron Miller, Thai drinker for life. Cheers. I wish I had my tea with me right now. Um, so the other thing that I wanted to say to you guys is that I wanted to give you an opportunity. Do you see the cup? Let's see there, that cup right there. It's a Mornings with Mayesh travel mug, and I want to give some of them away. So maybe I think the first 5 people that email me respond to my latest Mornings with Mayesh that I sent this morning, the latest Mornings with Mayesh email. The first 5 people that email me, I will send out one of those super cute mugs to you. I just need to know your name, your address, and a phone number. And that's purely for shipping reasons, not for myself. Okay, so first 5 people, go ahead and do that. And I see Bron, so let me bring him back. Hey, Bron.
Hey, gee whiz, I don't know what's going on this morning, but hey, I'm back.
Hey, I know. So, it happens. I actually have hung up on the whole entire show before, so that's like
Well,
the
that's what I just
worst.
did. I'm like, let me just reboot this whole thing and see if that works. I don't know. Let's see how
Yeah.
long we get.
All right. It looks like it's working better now.
Okay.
Okay, so I had asked you about coffee and tea. You said black coffee. We
Yes.
talked about who you admire most. You said your
Mhm.
husband. I want to know, are you a morning or a night person?
I am a night person.
You're a night owl.
Oh,
Woohoo.
oh
What is
wow.
Yeah, good for you. I'm not a night person, but
I'm
that's
not
great.
so sure if it's good for me. Not in the morning when I have to be up, right?
Yeah. What is your favorite hobby?
My favorite hobby is traveling and antique shopping.
Nice. What is the strangest thing you've ever eaten?
Okay, so the question. I have to answer it in terms of what are the strangest things to me that I won't eat.
Okay.
I won't eat any like. I won't eat turtle. I won't eat frogs. I don't care if they say it tastes like chicken. I won't eat gator. I will not eat certain wild game outside of venison. But you
Okay.
start getting into the squirrels and all that. No, ma'am, not gonna happen. Yeah.
Nice. All right. Cool. What is one of your weird quirks that you want to share with the world?
Ooh, weird quirks that I want to share with the world. So
Exactly.
I need everything kind of lined up and very organized, especially when I'm designing. And I know for a lot of folk, they just kind of make a big mess and clean it up. But I lose my mind if I'm walking all over a bunch of floral waste. I cannot stand it. So I am constantly sweeping and wiping my surface so that I can have a clear mind to focus on the design and not be distracted by the clutter. That's my
Love
week.
it. That's fun. I like that one. What is your favorite song?
My favorite song. I think my favorite song right now would be Deliver Me by Leandria Johnson and Donald Lawrence. It's a gospel song. I play it when I start my day every day.
I'm going to have to look that one up. Very
Please.
good. I think I know the answer to this. Are you a dog person or a cat person? I lost you again. We're not having good luck with this one, huh, guys? Oh, Lordy. Hmm. Well, let me go. I see some comments. So let's see. Leniel, I hope I'm saying that right. I'm really bad with names. You all should know that about me by now, right? She says I'm a clean designer too. I'm always cleaning and sweeping. Do all of you guys do that, or are you guys the ones that will like stand on like a foot of stems and and flower waste? I love it. Oh, Stem to Stem Petal Design Co. says, glad to know I'm not alone. That's great. Oh, I see Bron is back. Here we go. Hey, Bron. Welcome back.
Hey. Yeah, I'm glad to see that I'm not the only one who cleans and sweeps as they go. I've seen a lot of people
Yeah,
comment, so that's that's refreshing.
it is, right? I see a lot of people just kind of doing the whole mess thing and literally will stand on like a foot of stems when they're super busy. So to each their own. Okay, so are you a dog or cat person?
Totally a dog person. I've never owned a cat, but we've always had a dog. And right now we have two. We have a black lab named August and a schnauzer named W.E.B. Du Bois.
So cute. You're stuck. Can I hear you? No. Guys, we're not having good luck today. Let me see. Let me see. I have one more question to ask you, Bron. So let's see if we can do this. What else are you guys saying? I already have a mug. I saw a bunch of emails come through after I said that, so that I love it. Thank you. I love it. I love it. Let's see, what else is anyone saying? Hunter's Flow says about the time question I asked you guys. Any time can work for us depending on the week, event, schedule. Thankfully, studio life keeps us flexible. I love it. Melissa says, later, please. I always miss the beginning since I'm getting kids ready for school. And I hear you, lady. Yes, morning times are hectic, right? For us moms. So yeah, I think we'll see. We'll see about doing it later. Let's see. Is Bron back? I don't think he is. Let me keep on going through here. Later, please. Let's see. Peonies and Petals says 7 a.m. when I get ready. Good. This is all great, guys. I see. Let's see. Curate shared this link about florist floral markup. So if you guys want to check that out, it's a lovely resource. And Curate has just tons of great blog content. They sometimes help us out with our content too. So be sure to check that out. And Bron is coming back, and we're gonna just finish up one last question, and then we're wrapping it. Hi, welcome back.
Hurry up, because we don't know when this is going to happen again.
I know. What is success, Bron? What is success? Tell me real quick.
Success is a state of mind. Success is you believing wholeheartedly that what you do is good, and what you do is healthy, and
I lost him again. Guys,
people will benefit from.
I'm losing you, Bron. I like that though. So okay, we're gonna wrap it up, guys, because I know we're coming to the hour. Bron, thank you. You did amazing. I hope that we can have you on the show again. I'm sorry that we were having technical difficulties, but did so great. And I love that you talk about success as a state of mind, because I totally agree about that. I listened to this guy, Gary Vaynerchuk. I actually brought him up at the Flourish conference because I'm obsessed with this dude, and I think everyone should kind of pay attention to what he's talking about. He's a very big macro thinker, and also talks about the micro, and it's just always interesting. But he always talks about how he has like million friends who are millionaires and they're miserable, and it's not about the money. It is really a state of mind and kind of what you do with your life. So I love that. For you guys that want to connect with Bron after this, which I highly recommend, because he's just a really great guy, passionate, loves this industry. He has a Facebook group that I want to share with you guys. It's called The Village, a motivational community for wedding and event pros. So be sure to check that out. And then also, if you don't follow him on Instagram, which I highly recommend you do, I'm putting that link out there. And then let's see, he's here. So I just wanted to see if he had anything. Bron, do you have anything that you want to share with everyone while we're wrapping up? Do you have anything exciting happening?
Our Facebook community and our Instagram, and just everyone, just be mindful, please, of what you pour into yourself as designers and professionals, because that energy and that food is going to be what's going to be able to sustain you and the work that you do for your clients in the future. So that's all I want for you all, is to continue to invest in yourself, take care of yourself, so that you can be the best designers that you already are.
Beautiful. And I think that's a wonderful way to close the show, guys. That is a wrap on Mornings with Mayesh. I hope you have an amazing holiday season filled with love and light. From me, from Mayesh, from Bron, thank you for joining us, and I'll see you next month. Have a rocking day. Bye, guys.
Bye.